Close your eyes for a moment and imagine a silence so deep it hums, and inside that hum your thoughts begin to glow, not as private sparks but as signals, pulses, living data. The instant you wonder about something, anything, the answer arrives before the question finishes forming. No screen lights up. No keyboard waits for permission. The internet is no longer something you access. It is something you are. In that moment, the boundary between mind and machine dissolves, and humanity steps into a reality that feels less like science fiction and more like destiny knocking without asking first. In this world, curiosity becomes a superpower. A child wonders how stars are born, and suddenly her mind floods with cosmic nurseries, nuclear fusion, and the quiet violence of gravity. A doctor pauses before a diagnosis, and the collective knowledge of medicine breathes through their neurons, offering patterns, probabilities, and forgotten case studies. Thought itself becomes a search engine, faster than light, sharper than memory, and more intimate than language ever was. But the miracle does not stop at knowledge. Creativity mutates into something wild and uncontainable. Artists no longer chase inspiration, they swim in it. Music is composed at the speed of emotion, paintings emerge from raw feeling translated directly into form, and stories are no longer written but experienced as shared mental landscapes. Collaboration becomes telepathic jazz, minds improvising together in real time, cultures blending not through translation but through direct understanding. Communication sheds its clumsy skin. There are no misunderstandings born of poor wording or missing context. Emotions travel alongside ideas, wrapped together as a single transmission. Empathy becomes unavoidable. To speak is to be felt. To listen is to truly know. Arguments lose their sharp edges when you can feel the fear, hope, or pain beneath another person's belief, and humanity inches closer to something it has always wanted but never fully touched: genuine connection. Yet as the signal grows stronger, a shadow stretches behind it. If thoughts can connect, they can also be tracked. If ideas can flow freely, they can be intercepted, altered, or erased. Privacy, once a quiet refuge, becomes a battlefield. The most intimate place a human has ever known, their own mind, suddenly has doors, and not everyone who knocks has good intentions. Power shifts in unsettling ways. Those who control the networks no longer shape opinions through screens and slogans but through subtle nudges in thought itself. Influence becomes invisible. Manipulation becomes elegant. The fight for freedom is no longer about land or laws, but about mental sovereignty. The greatest rebellion is learning how to think without being guided, how to wonder without being optimized. Addiction takes on a new face. Why struggle to remember when memory is always there? Why learn slowly when understanding can be downloaded? The danger is not that humans become less intelligent, but that they become less human. Struggle once forged wisdom. Effort once shaped identity. When everything is instant, what happens to patience, to discipline, to the quiet pride of earning knowledge the hard way? And still, there is beauty blooming in the chaos. Diseases are cured because millions of minds analyze them at once. Climate solutions emerge from global thought storms. Borders soften when shared awareness replaces suspicion. Humanity begins to think like a single organism, diverse yet synchronized, flawed yet evolving, finally capable of tackling problems that once seemed too vast and too permanent. Education is reborn. There are no classrooms filled with bored faces and outdated lessons. Learning becomes a lifelong river, adapting to each mind's rhythm. A farmer in a remote village can access the same insights as a scientist in a shining lab. Knowledge is no longer inherited by privilege but shared by presence. Inequality trembles when information stops choosing favorites. Identity itself begins to blur and sharpen at the same time. When you can access countless perspectives, you question who you are, and discover it more deeply. You are no longer trapped inside a single narrative. You can visit other lives, other cultures, other ways of thinking, and return transformed. The self becomes a mosaic rather than a cage. But with every leap forward comes a question that refuses to be silenced. If your thoughts are connected, are they still entirely yours? When inspiration arrives, is it born from your soul or borrowed from the swarm? The line between individuality and collectivity flickers like a weak signal, daring humanity to redefine what it means to be unique. Some will unplug, retreating into silence like monks of the old world, guarding their minds as sacred ground. Others will dive deeper, merging thought and network until the difference no longer matters. Two versions of humanity will emerge, not divided by wealth or race, but by their relation.
And standing at the edge of it all is you. A single mind with a choice. To connect or resist. To shape the future or let it shape you. Because if thoughts could be directly connected to the internet, the greatest question would not be what humanity could know, but whether it would have the wisdom to choose what not to think. The future does not arrive with noise. It arrives quietly, as an idea. And the most dangerous, powerful idea of all is this: once the mind is connected, there is no going back, only forward into a world where thought itself becomes the final frontier. The moment the connection becomes permanent, silence itself gains a new meaning. True quiet is no longer the absence of sound, but the absence of signal. To sit alone with unconnected thoughts becomes a luxury, a form of mental wealth. People begin to schedule moments of disconnection the way ancient civilizations honored sleep and prayer, not because the network is evil, but because the mind needs shadows to appreciate light. New professions rise from this altered reality. Thought architects design safe mental spaces. Cognitive guardians defend minds against invasive code. Philosophers return to center stage, no longer asking abstract questions, but guiding society through dilemmas that technology cannot solve. The future belongs not just to engineers, but to those who understand meaning, ethics, and the fragile texture of consciousness. Love evolves in unexpected ways. When two minds can truly merge, even briefly, intimacy becomes terrifying and transcendent. There are no masks, no half-truths, no practiced performances. To love someone is to invite them into your inner weather, the storms, the doubts, the unfinished dreams. Relationships either deepen beyond imagination or collapse under the weight of too much truth. Spirituality is rewritten, not erased. Some see the network as humanity's collective soul finally waking up. Others fear it as a false god built from code and desire. Ancient questions return with sharper teeth. Where does consciousness come from? Is there something beyond shared thought? Or have humans simply built a mirror so vast they mistake their reflection for the divine? Rebellion takes quieter forms now. It is not loud protests, but untraceable thoughts, original ideas that refuse to be predicted. Creativity becomes an act of defiance. Daydreaming without purpose becomes radical. The most powerful statement a human can make is not speaking, but thinking something that no algorithm saw coming. Children born into this world never experience a disconnected mind. To them, shared thought feels as natural as breathing. They do not fear the network, they play within it, reshape it, question it with innocence adults have lost. And in their curiosity lies hope, because they are not burdened by nostalgia for a past they never knew. In the end, the Internet of Thoughts does not steal humanity's future, it magnifies it. Every fear, every hope, every flaw grows louder. The technology does not decide who we become. It only removes the excuses. When every mind is connected, the final truth emerges with stunning clarity.